Hi, friends. Hey, book buddies. I hope you're all having a great day. My name's Tracy. Welcome back to Love Your Shelf. Today is Thursday for me, the 26th week of the year, which means that in just a few days we will be halfway through the year. Also, July 1st is in a few days, so no matter which way you go, we're getting to the middle of the year, which actually is quite insane that it's went by so fast. But that means that we are doing a mid-year book freakout tag, which doesn't make sense to me. I think it should be mid-year freakout book tag. Freakout! I don't know. It's weird. That's what it's called. That's fine. That's what we're doing. So I did do one last year and it was a lot of fun. This year I'm not as excited about it. I looked at the things, I had to go through stuff, and I was pretty disheveled. Like, I didn't know what my choices should be for things. I've read 42 books. 42 books currently. I'm in the middle of reading literally 5 books that I just haven't finished, so I didn't count those. As of May 24th-ish, so about a month ago, I started Big Summer Book Club. So I've read a book that was 960 pages and 3 books that are just over 400, and I'm working my way through the other 11 that I have because I decided to try to do 15 like a crazy person. So I'll put the link to that page or video, whatever, if you want. That was actually brought to me by a fellow booktuber that I found, whose name is Sue. And yeah, so that's what we're doing right now. I wasn't doing big book summer, obviously, the whole year, so a lot of the books I've read are really all over the place. When I started this year, I thought I was going to work on trilogies or series books and classics, and I'm not going to lie, I've kind of not done that. I have read some series for sure. I've started some series. I've read more of series that have started, but I haven't finished a lot of series. Actually, I think I finished a duology and a series, and that's it. So yeah, it's been weird. The year is not what I anticipated it to be, but that happens. So it's all good. Right now I have 3 books that I've given 5 stars to. Last year I ended with 6, so 3 makes sense. But I have had 3 or 4 books that were between 4.7 and 4.9, so they were close, like almost 5 stars. And I've had some of the lowest rated books I've read this year as well. I think I'm getting pickier as time goes on. Well, we're just going to tag some books for the mid-year freak out book tag, which makes way more sense to me than the mid-year book freak out tag. I don't care what you want to call it. I'm just going to say what I think it should be. Okay. So let's start. Let's start off with something good. The best book that I've read so far this year, and that is, without a doubt, 100% Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler. This book is incredible. There is a second book to it. She wrote this in the 1990s, but it is for right now, like 2023 to 2025-ish. And we are in 2024. It's a dystopian, in case you forgot what year we're in. Oh god, okay, I'll get it together, I promise. It's a dystopian book about people who pretty much take this drug that makes them set shit on fire, and there's a lot of other things going on. So our main character lives in a gated community, and her dad is a pastor, and then she, as she grows and becomes a teenager, realizes that she thinks differently than her dad, and a lot of things that she wants to do grow off these beliefs she has that differs from her father. And then, like, her dad goes missing. It's insane. It's a hard book to read, but the second book's actually harder, if I'm being fair. And her community ends up getting torn apart, like set on fire, ravished by people, and she's forced to start walking up north. She's in California, and try to find a better life for herself. And in that, she uses her faith to meet new people and do what she is set out to do. So it's all the stuff that happens to her, essentially, until she's at a place where she can start building this community based off her beliefs. And it's really eye-opening and perceptive and beautiful and haunting and devastating. And it's an amazing, incredible book. And I definitely would suggest it to everyone. I had read one other book by Octavia Butler before, but this just blew it out of the water. And I did also read Parable of the Talents, which is the next book to this duology, and it is a harder read than this. So, like, if you get through this and you're like, I don't know if I can get through the other one, if it's this hard, it's harder. So just FYI, fair warning, at least in my perspective. So the next one we're going to talk about is the best sequel. The best sequel I've read so far this year is N.K. Jemison's The Obelisk Gate. So this is a trilogy from the Broken Earth series. So we have the 5th season, and then the Obelisk Gate, and then the Stone Sky. And the Stone Sky, or just kidding, the Obelisk Gate, the second book, was by far my most favorite of the 3. They were all over 4 stars, but this one did beat out the other 2, mainly because of the main character's daughter. She gets a lot more time to play in this book, and you find out why. Like, obviously she's part of everything, but it's also devastating because she's like 10 and she's learned how to manipulate her father and be everything he wants her to be. And I don't know, that part of the book just like totally resonated with me as a people pleaser, and I was here for it, and it was interesting to me to see that. And then a whole bunch of other stuff. N.K. Jemisin, 100% original in the stuff that she writes. Like, I have not read things that compare to these books. Like, a lot of times you have a lot of tropes. I don't feel like this has that. I feel like this just is unique in all aspects. And I felt the same way about an additional potentially duology. It might be a series. There might be more. But in The City We Became and The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin as well, she's just very original, and I love her stories and the voices that she gives people. So yeah, I would definitely say if you're interested in a very heavily sci-fi unique book or series, I would check out the Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin. Okay, the next one is new releases that you haven't read. I don't always read a lot of new releases, but there are a few that came out this year that I have put on my to be read list. So one of them is How to Age Disgracefully by Claire Pooley. I have no idea what it's about. Probably aging disgracefully. That just came out June 11th, 2024. Yeah, like literally it just happened a week ago, so I haven't read it yet. Another one is Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel, who's the same person that wrote Kekai, which I loved, and anything about water I'm there for. So if she's doing something that is about the Goddess of the River, I am 100% there. A Short Walk Through a Wide World by Douglas Westerbeek. which is described as The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue meets Life of Pi. So yes, I'm 100% there for that. Please sign me up. And then Table for Two by Amor Towels, but I haven't read anything by him yet. So one of the books in my Big Book Summer is A Gentleman in Moscow, and then I need to read The Rules of Civility according to other people that told me, so that I can then read Table for Two. So that's a few books from now. And then I have These Letters End in Tears by Musai Teji Xavier. I probably totally said that wrong. And that is about a Muslim girl falling in love with a Christian girl in a land where being gay is punishable by law. So that sounds really devastating, but I really want to read it. So most anticipated releases for the second part of the year is two, for sure. They're both sequels. One of them is the sequel to Iron Widow, and it's called, oh goodness, Heavenly Tyrant. And then the second one is So Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune is also, so both sequels I'm super into, or duologies. I don't know how many of those they'll end up doing, but yeah, I'm excited for both of those releases. Okay, moving on, if I can find my page again. Okay, the next one is biggest disappointment of the year. So if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, this answer would have changed, but I made it through because I said I was going to read it for Big Book Summer, and I was really excited to read it. Like, I had high hopes for this book. It is Gideon the Ninth by Tasman Muir. I really wanted to love this book. Like, it has high ratings. I was very excited for it. I heard it was like necromancer, sci-fi, space, opera, sapphic love. I mean, some of that is true, but like, there's nothing about the story that needed to be in space. It could have been on Earth. It didn't mention space at all. The way it was written threw me. A lot of times I was like, I don't even understand what's happening. And you'd think that that would just mean I don't get it. And maybe I legit just didn't get it. But there were so many caveats that I was like, why is this what we're doing? Like, there's a ton of characters. They're all thrown in. You don't really get to know a lot from any of them. There's one person that I'm like, oh, this person's definitely the bad guy, because you could tell by how little they care about everything. And I was right. And so even though I didn't know what was going on, like, it was predictable. Like, how do I not know what's going on and it's still predictable? It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah. And then there was a plot I didn't anticipate, and they like finished it up and was like, this is the plot. But then they were done. They didn't do anything with it, which is so frustrating because I actually cared about that part. And that was like 80% in when that happened. So like 300 some pages out of 400 some pages. And then they were like, okay, well, let's move on to the rest of this main plot or subplot. One was one of those and one was the other. I don't know which one was which. It was frustrating. Biggest disappointment for me, for sure. Unfortunately, I'm really sorry if you liked it. Like, please stay tuned because I'm sure that we'll find something else we agree on. But yeah, this is not it. If you loved that book, I'm sorry for being so down about it, but it just was not for me. Biggest surprise is a book that I got during my independent book crawl. It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over by Anne D. Markin. To me, a big surprise is a book that stays with you, like after you read it, that you didn't expect. So I read this in a few days. It's not very long. It's under 200 pages. It's beautifully written. It's haunting. The main character is a zombie. It starts with like I lost my arm today. She ends up finding a crow and sewing it into her chest. She's grieving a loved one that you believe is like, it's a romantic relationship for sure, based on the things that she said, but it's very poetic. The prose is gorgeously written. It is haunting in the best way. The story is stunning. The ending is chef's kiss, so good. Like, I think about it a lot, and it's a short book. I recommend it to whomever would like to read a beautiful short book. I didn't put it in my short book recommendations because it is almost 200 pages, but if you have a day or two and you want to be destroyed, please give this a chance. My newest fictional crush is Iona Iverson from Iona Iverson's Rules for Commuting. Read this book after I read Vera Wong's Advice for Unsolicited Murderers, and I really just wanted to continue to have newfound communities, like people that are going through things, and you create an unlikely community of friends. That's what I wanted, and Iona Iverson gave that to me. Iona is freaking hilarious. She shows up every day with her dog, and her dog sit in the same place, and no one else can sit where she's gonna sit, and she kind of adopts this little gang of very different people and helps them through things, even though she herself is also going through things, and she is incredible, and it works out for her, surprise, and I couldn't be more excited for her because I'm about her for sure. I'm gonna add in here, it's not in anyone's Freakout tags that I know of, but I'm just gonna add it, and that is a book that I learned something from. And 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. And some of the things that he talks about is we mentally fight against the way things are so that we don't have to actively participate in what it's like to feel claustrophobic, imprisoned, powerless, and constrained by reality. When in your life are you currently pursuing comfort when what's called for is a little discomfort? That's a question that he says you should ask yourself. There's like a whole bunch of stuff, but essentially it's about how we as humans, our life is so finite. We only have 4,000 weeks roughly to live if we live to be 80, and how a lot of times we can get stuck in the fact that we have time when we don't, and we should be enjoying it, and it is incredible. So that is not part of the mid-year book Freakout, but I'm going to add it, and hopefully I add it next year too, because I think that we should be talking about things that we're learning too. Yes, fictional things, fictional books can teach us so many things, and we can like understand and feel resonated. We can feel understood, and we can resonate with them. They can teach us lessons as well. But yeah, I just feel like we needed to add that in there. So, favorite new author or favorite new to you author. So I'm gonna say Octavia Butler, because I did read Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents, and I loved them, and I really want to read Kindred now. Like, she is on my radar. Before, I read Mind of My Mind, which is part of a series that she did, but I am really excited to read Kindred, and she is one of Mind of My Mind. I gave almost 4 stars, I think, so, or maybe 4 stars. So yeah, I mean, she is very good. I love the 2 books that she wrote that I read this year, and I'm hoping to add Kindred by the end of the year or beginning of next year. So I'm excited for that. A book that made me cry. I think the closest. So let's start by saying normally Frederick Bachman super wins this every year, and he has not come out with something new. And so, yeah. But I have read a book, the book that's been closest to making me cry, if it did, was We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. And this is my second 5-star book of the year. It's about a girl whose mom died when she was really young. So she grew up with her grandfather. Her grandfather also ends up passing, and she leaves for the summer, like, doesn't say goodbye to anybody. So now, and she ends up going to college in New York, even though she grew up in California. And you find out someone's coming to visit her for Christmas break, where she's not going home. She can't stand going home. She didn't ever do anything with all of her grandpa's stuff. So someone had to do something, and it wasn't her. So she just left. She abandoned her best friend. She abandoned her lover. She abandoned her family people that were close to her grandfather. And now it's Christmas time, and her best friend comes to visit her and wants answers, and wants to be there for her, and wants to protect her, and wants to support her. And it's about how once you start grieving someone, you're not the same person that you were when that person was in your life. Yeah, just thinking about it is going to make me cry. So yeah, I think this was my answer for sure. It's an incredible book. I was so surprised by how much I liked it. I don't even know how I heard about this book, but I really liked the whole everything about this cover, and it ended up just being what I needed in that moment. So this was my second 5-star book. Unfortunately, the way that this is done, you guys aren't going to get to know what my third 5-star book is, because it doesn't meet this list, but that's okay. Maybe I'll talk about my favorite books in a different video sometime. So the next one is a book that made me laugh, and that 100%, the book that made me laugh more than any book I've read this year is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. So incredible. Vera Wong is freaking hilarious. I really thought that I wasn't going to like it. This was in my biggest surprise originally, but I decided, there's something else that needs to go in there now. And we talked about it. Anyway, however, this book's hilarious. I had read Dial A for Aunties. It's by the same author, and I was dreading having to read this book. And within 3 pages, I was addicted to Vera Wong and just how hilariously crazy she is. There's a dead body found in her tea shop, and to help the police, she draws an outline in Sharpie of the body. She's hilarious. And she ends up meeting a bunch of people in trying to solve this murder herself, because the police don't believe it was a murder, and ends up making a really cool community with a bunch of people that are all associated with the person that had died, but they don't really know how. So yeah, it's really interesting, and this dead guy had some secrets and people found out about them, so it was a really good book. This beautiful book I've bought this year is Curious Tides by Pascal Lascelles, and I am reading it currently. I'm about 70 pages in. I just started it yesterday and I'm in love with it. But what really got me into this book is it's about it's about groups of people that have, what am I trying to say? Powers based on the moon. And so they start out with the little moon, and then as you go through, it wanes and waxes. I'm not good at this because I'm doing it backwards. Sorry, my bad. But also, every part has a black page with this on it. this drawing, which is really cool. And I legit bought it because it's beautiful. And there's a purple version, but I've seen a bluish, greenish version as well. But yeah, I couldn't not buy this. I had no idea what it was about. I am a sucker for water. Like, I love the beach, I love the ocean, I love the river. So Curious Tides, I'm here for it, and I've been really enjoying reading this book so far. It's another one of my big book series books that I'm reading. It's 540-ish pages. So yeah, most beautiful book I read this year. So that is the end of my mid-year Freakout book tag. That's what I'm calling it. Thank you for joining me here on Love Your Shelf. Let me know what you guys have read that's been your biggest surprise, biggest disappointment, book that's made you laugh, book that's made you cry. I want to hear about it. Favorite book you've read so far this year, a new author. There are definitely some good tags in this that I enjoy. I hope you guys liked the new one that I added in. Tell me if you've read a book that has taught you a lot. I really want to know that too. This year, book-wise, has been very different for me. And I recently, in the last 6 weeks, because of things that's been going on in my life and my family, been able to get back into BookTube, and I've been really enjoying it. I've been really enjoying listening to new BookTubers. So I encourage that. Like, we're all here reading books, and there's so many good books. Like, I could be reading nonstop for the rest of my life, and there's going to be a book that I don't get to read, you know? So, yeah. Thank you so much for joining me here on Love Your Shelf. There are, a fuck ton of booktubers, and you guys don't have to be here, and you are. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming to my channel. I hope that we agree about a book, or we disagree about a book, and we can talk about that. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Like and subscribe if you want, but most importantly, happy reading. Have a great day. Namaste.